Today, we're sitting down with the greatest solar salesman I've ever met, Andrew Kane, the GOAT.
Maybe just the greatest salesman, period.
35 and 30. I watched him do it. I thought it was fake.
Oh, you fucking gonna be famous.
Guys are looking sharp.
Zach Dingy,
Tony
Two
Capoletti.
Dudes, Three Legs podcast, where we share business tips, interview experts,
And travel the world.
This week on Two Dudes, Three Legs.
You did 35 deals in 30 days. I watched it. And you know what I actually thought back then? Because I didn't even know you. I thought Gio paid someone to just put up fake site visits to get the team going. Do you know that? That's actually true.
That was like watching Jordan in his prime, when every night you'd get home and be like, I wonder how many Andrew's gonna put in today. All of a sudden at 8 o'clock at night, Andrew Kane sale. Talk shit. He would talk shit in the chat too. That's one. An hour later, another sale, Andrew Kane. That's two. And it went on for like 8 months.
And he called it too.
Yeah.
That month, you
March
said
Madness.
you were like, I'm doing 30
It
this
was
month.
April. It was April, I think.
It was March.
Nope, it was April.
I didn't intake any of them until April.
Got it.
Guy just sells 30 deals, lets him sit.
So, Andrew, let's talk about your solar stuff before we get into your stories.
Oh, this
We're gonna
guy's
get with
got
your
fucking
stories
headphones
later.
on over there too. He just
Yeah, he's
listens?
got to listen in good.
He's the
You don't want him to listen?
He's
No,
the real
dude.
mastermind behind everything.
Yeah, he's a character though. I like.
You like Bryce?
I don't
do.
even say
Yeah?
anything without him speaking it into my headphones. He
Yeah.
has a mic that goes to my headphone, and I just say what he says.
Yeah.
You just fuck
Every
me up.
podcast.
That's how we do it, bro. It's like NFL.
I'm the
it's like the
puppet.
NFL.
I'm his puppet.
All right, let's
Maybe
get
our
into the sales
podcast
stuff.
would probably be a lot better if that was the case.
Our podcast would be so much better if it was up to Bryce.
All right, listen, you're Andrew Kane. People don't know who you are. We just gave you intro that you're the best salesman ever. Talk to us about selling solar. Why'd you get into selling solar? What were you doing when you started? Give us the backstory from 2020 to 2022. Give us the beginning,
2020?
the first 2 years, your rookie season.
So 11 years into teaching, it was COVID. I was working at a restaurant, one of the top restaurants in Jersey, top 100 in America. One of 4 waiters, fine dining spot, Saddle River Inn. So I knew the restaurant was going to close down, and I kind of just talked to my buddy John. He gave me your contact. No, Gio's contact. Gio's the GM. I called Gio, and he fucking hung up the phone on me.
Yep.
Sounds like Jill.
I called Gio. I said, hey, Gio, my name is Andrew. I'm a teacher. He said, I don't do teachers. Hung up.
Yeah.
I called him again, and then he hung up again. Then I called him from my closet with a sweater over my mouth.
What?
My 2-year-old was in
Oh.
the other room, and I was screaming into the sweater, telling him, you motherfucker, I'm now going to go to another company and tell you what I did, and I hung up on him. Called me back. He told me Zach's going to give me a call. Then we met. I think it was
Panera.
Yeah, you fucking jerked me around a little bit.
I blew you off a few times too.
Yep, and I remember sitting.
You had a
there.
hard time getting a job.
I
We
did.
really didn't want to
I didn't
fucking
even know
deal
what
with
the
you.
fuck it was about either. I didn't even know what
Yo,
the job was.
little do you know, to this day, nobody's ever told you that was all psychological.
No, it wasn't.
That was the Andrew Kane against Andrew Kane.
That would
I
work.
used your tactics against you.
You did. It worked because I went out and I said, "Fuck this kid." You didn't even hire me.
I know.
And then it was like a Friday, Panera, Saturday, knocked doors, couple hours, Sunday, did the restaurant still. And then me and Anthony Marino that's when he kind of started training me. We teamed up a bit.
To give context to that, I really tried not to hire the best sales rep that I've ever seen in my life. It took him 3 weeks to get a job because he was a full-time teacher. And after he ended up coming on to the company, you've probably generated like $50 million for the company. And I would not hire you at first.
You didn't hire me.
Yeah, I know.
You said you can't do this. You gave me like a 90-day fucking packet that I threw out. Like, what the fuck is this? And then I ended up, I was knocking on doors and I was telling people, they were like, what is this for? I'm like, I have no idea.
So why were you so good at knocking on doors? Because you came in and before you even knew the product, before you knew the company, before you knew anything, you went out and sold like 8 deals in your first month, which is unheard of in the solar world. Unheard of.
So Saturday, Sunday, I made 3 appointments Monday through Friday, 15. So it was 3 Monday, 3 Tuesday.
How though?
Just being honest with people. So sales is more not even the product knowledge, just being honest. If you have the knowledge, you could be honest about the knowledge of the product. But if you don't know the product, you have to tell the homeowner. I was telling him, listen, I don't understand. I don't know anything yet. I'm lining you up with one of the top sales guys for one of the best companies.
Yeah, but everyone does that. How come you set appointments? Because when everyone
It
gets in the
just
company,
works.
that's what they say too. But why were you so good?
Going out and just being honest and just also being able to read people. And then just leveraging off, hey, I'm working with your neighbor. What time works for you? I have to meet with people in this neighborhood. Just kind of like there was no option for a no. So I lined up 2 neighborhoods. Me and Anthony went out, probably sold, it was like $100,000 worth of cash commissions in 2 weeks, maybe like a week and a half.
In your first 2 weeks.
Yeah, me
And you knew
Anthony,
nothing
yep.
about solar.
Well, I didn't sell yet. I knocked, and then he would sell. We would go together to the appointments. Hilarious shit too. Anthony's he's a comical guy. He doesn't realize he's being funny. I'm talking to the people. We would start arguing. I don't even know Anthony at this point. Me and Anthony are arguing several times in front of the homeowners. He would tell me, "Can you shut the fuck up?" Because I would want to talk to homeowners, right? And we have another appointment at say 6 o'clock, and it's 5:15. He didn't even get his presentation started yet. And he would tell me, "Can you stop? Do you want to sell? Do you want to sell, or like, do you want to make money today?" And I'd be like, "Dude, fuck you." And the homeowners are laughing. We had a good time.
I wish I could have been there.
Anthony is the 3rd week in solar. He actually went to Hawaii. So it was almost like, I think his brother's out there, and he kind of went as a, he went to celebrate almost. Made a lot of money. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have gotten into sales eventually, but that's when selling for me started.
Yeah, because you wanted to just do lead gen in the beginning and team up with
So
Anthony.
I was full-time teaching.
Yeah.
I couldn't really like. I
Yeah,
didn't know
by
what
the
time I
way,
was on.
he made $100,000 in commissions, didn't know shit, and was also a full-time teacher at the time. Full-time teaching, didn't know anything about solar, knocked on doors, and set up 15
You were
appointments, sold 8
knocking
deals.
after work, after coming
So
home from
that
school.
week I knocked like 2 hours, 3 hours Saturday, maybe like 11 to 2, and I would go to the restaurant at 4. Sunday, I was working my restaurant shift Sunday night. I would knock 11 to 2, drive to Jersey, start the restaurant gig at 4. I didn't think I was going to get paid. You guys didn't have any information. There's no license, nothing. It was very like wide open. Like, how does this work? No social, like nothing was on paper yet. So my worry was I'm going to get fucked over here with money. And Anthony and a lot of guys that I was talking to, they were just like, just keep doing your thing and don't worry about it. It'll get figured out. We didn't speak again. It was just very, Anthony goes to Hawaii. And then my first 2 sales, they were on the same day. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. I left school, went to knock doors. It was first door I knocked, walked in, sold them. And then the neighbor, second door I knocked when I didn't even have a login yet. That's
Tell me
how
about the
sales
first
started.
time when you called me and you had a canceled deal.
Well, actually, the first deal I ever sold, they did cancel.
Uh-huh.
So looking back, I would have probably not even signed them up the same night. I didn't have all the information for them, but they want to move forward. I had a case of wine in my trunk. So when I left, I came back in with a bottle of wine. And I said, "It's for you guys, enjoy." It was probably like a $50 bottle of wine. So I came back after the site survey a handful of days later. I had the roofer go out. They were going to get a roof and solar. And they decided to cancel. Guy was a cop. Woman was probably a liberal, but definitely a liberal.
A cop and a liberal.
Yeah, it didn't work out. She was like a bulldog in there. And, she's like, "I don't want to do this." So the bottle of wine, I left. I went back into the house.
Grabbed the bottle of wine.
I did. The wine was opened. It was corked.
I did.
She probably drank half the bottle. I was like, "I'm taking this. This is mine." And she was like, "You're taking she was like fucking freaked out. But that was my first sale. I mean, it canceled. The neighbor did go solar.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but
Okay, so not only did you end up becoming the #1 sales rep in solar for PlugPV, but you also have the highest referral rate. Why do you get so many referrals? Why are 99% of your deals referrals?
I think it's more about the personality types that I sign up. So if I'm knocking doors,
Give me a personality. What kind of types? What
type
kind of
A,
type people do you
cops,
deal with?
firefighters, Republicans. I was selling based on politics for a long time. Even now, I'm not scared to bring up the politics behind solar. But really the passion in a sale. So if you're just selling to, you're acting, but there's no true passion. You really like what you're doing. You feel like you're actually benefiting the homeowner. The passion behind it brings up for them, they're not only very intrigued, they're educated, but also they're kind of scared. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know all this stuff. So I need to tell is it okay if I refer you business? That's what I usually get. Not, can you refer me business? It's like, do you take on referrals? Is it okay if I tell my cousin, or can I tell my best friend? It's more, so the passion, if it's strength and passion, and obviously the conviction and confidence needs to be there, your tone and all that. But the passion, the education, if that's there, the savings is just kind of the savings. But if they understand all the information, they're going to refer business. And then obviously it's doing the right thing by people. You have to pick up the phone. You have to follow through. You have to do what you tell them.
You had 107 installs that year. How many of them were door knocks and how many were referrals?
22. I had 109 installs, and there was 104 of them were referrals. So it was about 90 something percent, probably 93, 94%. And that was one of the worst years of my life, to be honest. It was a crazy turn of events. I probably blew off 80 to 100, at least 80 referrals, just contacts in my phone. I mean, I signed a handful of them up now, just looking back at my phone. But I had a list of contacts. I remember I was speaking with you, Zach, and in the summer I stopped working. I was doing a big renovation in my backyard, but it was more about, that's when like mental health really peaked for me.
Before we get into mental health, I need to set the stage for people. You were still teaching. Were you out yet of teaching or no?
No, so I'm working full-time teaching.
Working full-time teaching. You just had a newborn baby. You had another 2-year-old.
Yep.
And you were doing a $800,000 backyard at the time, GCing the project.
Yep.
And a wife.
And a wife.
Yeah, all that in the midst of and you still did 109 sales, 105 were referrals, and every night you're doing
everything's on Zoom,
yep.
So it's more efficient on Zoom. Making sure you're giving the homeowner the correct, the other thing with the referral, if you're not giving the correct pre-framing everything throughout, being very walking them through every step, what would happen is a homeowner is just going to be worried. So if they don't know the next step, that's going to develop, what's happening? Worry, develops anxiety. They're not going to refer business. They're going to think this is a headache. When you're being very thorough and pre-framing and making sure they understand the next steps and the expectations. If you don't give the expectations, they're going to worry and be like, what's next? But
that's like
give them all the
90% of what I teach at the rookie sales meetings is just tell them what's going to happen next so they know what to expect, and then they won't be scared. Because if something comes up and they don't know, they get an email that they weren't told was coming. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Just set the expectation so when it comes, they understand and they feel like you're guiding them. And then everything else makes sense.
I mean, I have a ton of stories, but that's really the teacher, setting the expectation. Guys, get in line. It's not go to the cafeteria. It's go get in line first, stand on the right side of the hallway, leave the classroom, make sure the door shuts. It's very structured.
People have to be told what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
How to do it, when to do it.
And that's a lot of the referral-based stuff too.
You told me one time you were trying to get referrals and you put one group chat, you put one family member, one homeowner in a group chat with another homeowner and made them fucking fight over referrals or something like that.
Competition. So that's type A personalities. Both were cops. Great guys. One guy met knocking on his door. He's actually a comedian. Really cool guy, Larry. He lives over in New Windsor.
Larry the comedian.
Fucking hilarious, this guy.
Puts the Larry in hilarious.
It was actually Larry and John. So Larry, I knocked on his door, and I asked about his dog. Somehow the dog came up, right? So he rescued the dog. The dog was from my mother's shelter that she ran. So it's late at night. He's standing out on his steps or on a hill. A little bit of a heavier set guy, great guy, and he I now figured out that the dog came from my mother's shelter. I'm looking at the dog. My mother wanted me to keep this dog. So I'm like, how the fuck?
You recognize the
Crazy.
dog.
My mother kept sending me pictures. You would love this dog. You would love this dog. So I'm like, what the fuck, right? Where'd you get the dog? Larry goes, oh, it's to this shelter. And now I'm setting him up to say something because my mother's a great woman, but she's a little bit of a, he said airhead, but my mother's she's comical, right? So I knew that was going to come out. So I said, oh, who'd you deal with at the shelter? Oh, Linda, very nice woman, da da da. And I said, oh, what'd you think of her though? Should I give her a call? And he goes, really nice, sweet woman, but a little bit of an airhead.
Talk about your mom.
Fucking hilarious. I knew that. My mother and Larry are very close. They talk probably every week still. So I said, oh yeah, that's my mother. And he literally was like, oh, and he almost fucking tumbled down the hill. It was very funny. I called my mother right there. But yeah, he had a dog that I literally, my mom was trying to give to me.
To you.
So Larry ends up referring a shitload of people. He's happy, gets a roof, solar. And the guy that you're talking about, his name is John. He's another cop, retired cop, and he referred a lot of business. So what happened was I would hit up John and say, John, I thought, you referred me 12 people last 2 weeks, but Larry kind of gave me 16. Like, what's going on here? Meanwhile, I didn't talk to Larry for a couple weeks. So I'm like, I thought you knew more people. I would just leverage them again. Then I would call Larry. Dude, you're the top dog now, but John he's talking shit about you. So then it would, yeah. So then I started.
And they don't know each other at all?
They were cops together.
Oh, okay.
So Larry referred John.
Got it.
And then they're just very competitive. So, oh, that motherfucker, whatever. And then they ended up a couple weeks later calling me like, you fucking asshole. Like they figured out. Great people. They actually helped me with, Bryce did that awesome video for my referrals and whatnot. They were both in that.
Those dudes?
And you take care of your
them.
customers a lot too. You've brought people out to Giants games, you're giving tickets away, you buy bottles of tequila, everything?
Giants, Yankees, I have Rangers season tickets. So a lot of it goes to customers, tequila, whatever they like, but not every customer. But if it comes up, it comes up.
But you send your customers to games.
Yeah.
You give them free tickets to games.
Yeah, a homeowner out. She just lost her husband about a month before. Huge Giants fan. That's way too loud. He doesn't know how to fucking work the audio on this thing. Sean left, I guess. No, it's just like he starts it up and it's way too loud in my ear. So this woman actually lost her husband about a month before. She wanted to move forward with solar. I would not sign her up unless I met with either the husband's brother or one of his friends. Very strict with it. I didn't want to move her forward. That's just building trust, but also I want to make sure she really wanted to do it, just not making a move in regards to just losing her husband. She had 4 kids. So that woman I actually sent to a Giants game. I have 6 Giants tickets, and they're huge fans. But she's awesome. She's given me a lot of referrals up in Poughkeepsie. But
over in our territory.
All right, I want to unpack some game for the people who are tuning in to learn something here about how you've, I'll say, even perfected your craft at a kitchen table. So when you're sitting with somebody, what would you say to somebody who's going to sit at a kitchen table? What's the most important thing that you need to bring to the table? Is it just being extremely clear with these people, building extreme rapport? Is it offering them savings, or is it?
I would say savings is the last piece. If you're going, for me at least, in our company, which I will speak PlugPV, I'll speak very highly of. We have a filtering process throughout. You cannot screw someone over. If they don't get sun, they're not moving forward. They get filtered out, right? They get disqualified. But there's a lot of bullshit companies out there that will sign anyone up, lie on paper, it's going to produce X amount, and it's just complete bullshit. So savings for whoever we're signing up in this company, it's always going to be there either way. But the biggest piece would be the tone, how you're talking. So it's almost like charismatic, but also like high pitch, low pitch. You have to be when I'm sitting at a kitchen table, it's almost like an act. I'm telling the truth, but I kind of get caught up in an act. I get very passionate about what I'm saying.
Now, is it a back and forth conversation,
No.
or are you controlling the whole
So
thing?
I want to control everything. So there's some guys out there that want to ask questions first or throughout. For me, I like to control the conversation because I have the information. Right. Why am I asking the homeowner about the information?
I
I'm the
take a similar approach.
I'm the consultant. I'm the one with the info. I'll definitely answer all their questions. But if you're structured, I'm very structured in the education behind it. I pretty much hit up all their questions. They might say, "Oh, well, I think you went over this," and ask again at the end a question. But I structure it throughout, and a lot of it's just the tone, being charismatic. That's like.
I also think you don't need to ask questions because you understand human beings at the highest level.
Yeah.
So you don't need to ask any questions because you already know what they are thinking, and you already know what they would ask.
A lot of it's being a couple steps ahead and just reading people. So I'm extremely hyper vigilant, which I didn't really understand until Mark Tassoni kind of put me onto who I am. But
Shout out Mark Tassoni.
yeah, I love him. He's like an uncle. But hypervigilance comes from just my background. My father, great guy, but he was fucking wild. From the Bronx, out of his mind. Every time I got in a car with him, he's gonna fucking grab someone by the throat probably. So I was always on guard, fight or flight mode, hypervigilant, picking up, reading 3 steps ahead. The guy over there has the gun, but this guy's look like I could walk in a room and kind of pick up on it.
So you picked that up from how you were raised.
Absolutely.
I thought it had something to do with your training for becoming a teacher and then working in as a teacher for 10 years. I thought it was something you developed.
Teaching is more the structure.
Okay.
So control, structure, education. The hypervigilance, the relating to people, to reading people, how they need to be spoken to. That's all based on probably genetics at some point, but based on my
upbringing.
Yeah.
Why did you become a teacher then? Because your father is not that kind of a guy. What did your father do?
My dad did so many different things. He was a contractor. He broke his back. He was actually first 9/11 down in World Trade Center. Not first 9/11.
God bless.
First
Responder.
bombing. He was helping people out, and he went to pick up a big piece of whatever it was, stone or whatever, and there was someone under it, and he broke his back doing that.
Holy shit. Wait, when the bomb went off in the...
Bomb went off, he broke his back trying to help someone out.
So
they sent in a crew probably a day or so later. It wasn't that same day, but it was... That's what their crew was doing.
Why did you become a teacher? That's the last thing I would think a personality like you would ever want to be.
I could not imagine you dealing with
Like nothing about you says teacher.
So I actually graduated high school. I never took the SATs. I graduated high school with a 67 average. So, yeah. Pretty close. I definitely have some kind of, I would say I have ADHD, but some kind of learning disability where my reading level, my vocabulary level is extremely low. People don't really know that, but I think that's part of me reading people. I had to get into the almost acting, playing it off like I understood, joking, reading people to then, balance out for being in class. I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I needed help. I went to Newburgh, very large school district. It was very diverse. So the average white guy, he's not struggling. All my friends didn't really struggle with school, but I did. I mean, I guess I didn't put in as much effort, but I was not lower level, but I sold the teachers. So I would have to go get my cuts cleared every spring to go play baseball. I had some kind of story. Never took the SATs. I actually went to Dutchess. I played baseball there. I led the league in home runs in the fall season. Batted fourth.
I did not know
pitcher.
you were an athlete.
Yeah.
Well, he's not an athlete. He was a baseball player. Get it straight.
I actually didn't know that about you, Andrew. I really never knew you played baseball. That's dope.
Bro, it was this. Did you win D1? Didn't you?
No, but I'm about to fight Tony right now. I swear to God. You see my body?
He just
type
called
now?
you not an athlete. I'm saying, wow, that's awesome. You're gonna fucking fight.
He's
me?
a 6'4"
Listen,
fucking
I don't
freak of
care.
nature.
I'm too scrappy. I'll take my fucking leg off and hit you with it.
I would rather fight the taller guy. Actually, you're right. But yeah. I mean, baseball's not the most.
Where'd you play? You went to Manhattan College?
Yeah, I didn't
but
play.
You didn't play baseball?
I played a fall season in Manhattan. Played at Dutchess. I failed off the team. Then I had to redo a lot of classes. I was fucking up because I just didn't have that. How do you study? So I became a teacher. My uncle was a teacher. He was probably my most positive influence, still is in in my life. But he's a teacher. He's an entrepreneur. He owns a hardwood floor company. He does very well. But he was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why don't you try to be a teacher, right? So I took the phys ed route. I was an athlete, played sports, but I thought it was a little bit easier. Maybe I could pass these fucking track and field, these stupid dance classes and shit. Although the science behind it, I mean, I cheated my way through. I did. But science classes were hard. So I became a teacher, transferred to Manhattan College I went down there and walked into the education department. I said, dude, I have an appointment with you and I'm going to transfer here. So I had like a 2.7 at the time. And the director of education was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And they accepted me. I graduated from Manhattan, and then I ended up doing my special ed master's at Manhattanville. So I started teaching. It's all about who you know. I started subbing in a district, and I got a job as a teacher, health teacher, and I was a health and phys ed, master's in special ed. And I always worked at restaurants. I owned a business. I started at 22, subcontracting hardscaping, so pavers, patios, and all that.
I remember that.
So that helps out with the sales as well. You understand the process of talking to homeowners, making them feel comfortable and whatnot. So I'm all over the place, and I wouldn't say life, but I do have a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, but you have knowledge in like every category, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like you understand all the sides of the fucking
I feel like
triangle.
everything you did helped you in one way or another to
become
become an
better
excellent salesman.
100%.
Like the nurturing you received at home from your father made you perspicacious or hypervigilant, like you said. And then being a teacher, you learned how to control the situation and educate. And then being a server, you learned service.
Talking to
serving
people.
your customer and making sure they're happy throughout the whole
One of
process.
the best
when you're working with
jobs
them.
that I would tell someone to go and do is bartending or serving in particular. Bartending is a little bit more difficult.
For
I did
sales?
bartend. Just in general, but definitely relatable to sales.
I think everyone should mandatory have to go serve in a
Work in a
restaurant for
restaurant.
2 years. It'll
100%.
change your entire life. And it'll
Just,
change how people
I
are
think I
treated.
would crush, bro.
You never worked at a restaurant?
No, I would crush.
Dude.
I'd be the best
Oh,
waiter.
you would
I'd
be
have people
incredible.
laughing so hard and shit.
Yeah. Nah, you would be sick.
I'm about to quit Plug.
Yeah.
About to open a restaurant so you could work there.
Imagine.
I'm not even joking. How did he not work in a fucking restaurant? That's so weird.
I feel like
Yeah,
everyone
he worked in
has.
restaurants
I
for a
know
long
that.
time.
He's
I would
probably
clean
more
up.
like me than anyone. It's fucking
Oh, that's
weird.
not true. I actually washed dishes at Fireside Barbecue and Grill for a
You were
couple.
just fucking back there like
I was
a
like
parrot, probably
14
didn't shut
years
the
old.
fuck up.
Fucking
Parrot. Shut the
seriously, I
fuck
was
up.
fucking-
dropped off.
Dude, I could see you washing dishes. I'd walk back there with a fucking big plate of
Just
there's
dirty
Tony
shit.
again talking fucking shit. Dude, I can't believe you didn't work. Did Noel work at a restaurant?
Maybe when he was younger. I don't really know.
Mind-boggling.
Noel's always been in sales.
Yeah, restaurants are. I mean, communication is the key, right? Reading people and communicating. You don't even need to know the knowledge. You could always learn it as it goes on. That's what I did with solar. Anthony said it. The least knowledge you know to start, the better.
Right.
If I'm trying to get really good at sales, what's your recommendation? What should I do? I'm 21 years old. I want to get good at sales. What do I do?
I'm a different avenue, but what I did is just let the guard down and just go out there and be honest with people. What I feel a lot of these characters go out and do is try to imitate Instagram, imitate someone they're not. And what happens is they sound like a fucking salesman. If you go out there and you're just brutally honest like I was when I started, hey, I don't even know what I'm doing out here. I don't even want to do this. Thank
don't
you
wanna
so much
be
for
here.
helping me today. I'm working with Paul here, and then I'm working with Mark at 5. I'm going to swing back around at 7 to give you guys the information. All I know is I just started. I don't have any information. You're going to be working with one of the top sales reps or top reps of the company. It's a top tier company. It's a privately owned company. They're going to give you the information. Does that work for you? That's brutally honest.
And it brings the guard down. It's like, this guy can't pull one over on me. He doesn't fucking know anything.
Yeah, typically you don't approach someone like, I don't even want to fucking do this today. Like it would, but what I would say to answer your question, Zach, is just be honest, be open, honest, let your own guard down. Because if you go out there with an ego and want to learn everything, want to be the best immediately, I was the best out the gate without realizing I was the best. It's kind of fucked up. I wasn't on the meetings and stuff. I was the top guy from the beginning. And I didn't even really see it until I stopped teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Then I walk into a position where I'm
I
like,
remember.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I know you would tell me you did like 5 sales in a week, and I'm like, yeah, that's all right. It's not bad. Even though he's the #1 guy, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Because he had no fucking idea. But if you tell him like, yo, that's insane. What do you mean you just did 5 sales? Well, then you would understand.
Well,
you
here's
know?
the thing. You set the bar. You set your own bar. Right? I didn't have a bar set.
Yep.
But when you're around people that have a lower bar than you, even if your bar's here, what you're going to do is start, right, lowering yourself, because that's just the average. That's the known. So I didn't have a bar set. I was doing a lot of times like 3 deals. How I would sell is in groups. I would sell like a weekend and then take 3 weeks off. I would sell in a month, or not even a month, a couple days in the month, or a couple weeks in the month. That month I did 36 deals. I sold 3 weeks out of those 4 weeks in March.
That's the craziest part of it all, is that like even your year where you did 107, it wasn't like you were working that hard.
109 is driving.
109. The year you did 109 sales, you really weren't working that hard. It was like you weren't putting in 50 hours a week in solar.
No, it would be about 2 to 3 hours per customer, because the Zoom would be about an hour. Follow up, it's all referrals, so I'm not out knocking doors.
Also, I would say probably I would give you the title, God of Excel spreadsheet. I've never met a man like you in Excel spreadsheet.
Tracks everything.
It was the most mind-boggling thing in the world. Every day, I think you sent me a new spreadsheet.
And I think every day you buy a new
Someone at 3
calendar.
in the morning.
Yeah, and you definitely buy no, you buy 6 new calendars a day.
Calendars, I have a lot
Notebooks,
of planners.
notebooks.
Pens. I've never seen.
Pens.
Your fucking office looks like a Staples.
But nothing written on any of it.
No, it's all brand new equipment.
Brand new.
Just like you can
Every
sell it.
whiteboard,
like a
everything.
warehouse.
You know what they say? The best salesmen are the easiest to be sold. So you buy shit all.
everything, too.
I buy everything all the fucking time. I'm terrible. Today I woke up and spent $3,000 on apocalypse shit.
But he's stuck in.
Yeah, can you guys
Which
hear
I'm-
me?
I can hear you're very quiet.
I want to ask a couple sales questions. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All
Real
right.
question.
Andrew-
Time out. Do you guys realize how good Bryce is at what he does?
Yeah, no, we know.
Yeah.
You do know that.
No, 100% we know.
Because I thought, no offense, dude. I thought when you brought him on and you started hanging out with Bryce, I knew Zach before. I didn't know you fucking Guido. Fuck, I'm Italian too. But I was like, who's this fucking dork? And I hate to say that, dude, but I'm like, he's running around with a camera. Do you remember the first time I met Bryce?
Yeah, I do.
Tell the
You
story.
almost beat
Yeah,
the shit out of him.
don't
I
make
thought you were going to
fucking
body
slam
slam
him.
him in a fucking
Dude,
restaurant.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, we're going out to eat. It was some kind of award thing. I think it might have been, I was included in the award.
Yeah.
So I went with my wife. It was like 16
It was
people
like a
there.
celebratory dinner at Blue Point.
I think it was what was it for? Quarterly?
#1 in the Northeast.
Got it. And I was like, I told Christina, I was like, Chris, if he brings that fucking prick with the camera, I don't even think I knew his name. And I showed up, and sure enough, he like grabs at his fucking camera. I'm like, dude, I said something along the lines, if you fucking take your camera, I'm throwing it in the river.
The stage needs to be set. You walk in, and we're all so excited because Andrew Kane is there. And at the time, nobody really knew who you were because you were a full-time teacher, so you were never at meetings, so nobody really ever saw you. And we have this celebratory dinner. Everyone's there, the whole sales team, all their wives, 20 people. You walk in, and I get all excited. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? Well, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. The first thing you say is, yo, don't fucking put that camera in my face. I'll throw that shit in the Hudson River. And I'm like, what?
I had to tell him.
I picked it up because you walked in.
Yeah.
You know, I was using it a
know
little,
that.
but like because you walked in, I picked it up.
I
You're the
saw
guy.
that.
I'm documenting wild real life of you guys. You know.
But really quick, Bryce did an amazing video with me. I didn't know him, right? He did a lot of Sean as well. And they killed my fucking referral video that I never even used yet, right?
Yeah.
But this motherfucker
That's the best.
fucking never used it. Probably the best video you could ever fucking make for a
Oh,
referral.
God.
I never used it.
I
Yep.
use it all the time.
Use my own video.
Yeah, send it to my.
We all do. You know, all the people have it. They all use
So
it.
upset. But that's when I realized how good he is. What he fucking does. He's a control freak.
Yeah.
So am I.
You've touched that mic at least 17 times
got
during
the
this
vision.
interview.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kane.
He's got the vision.
Thank you, bro. No.
Hit us with some salesy questions.
Okay. So, and feel free to just let it rip, fly off the mouth with it. My mom walked into like Home Depot.
Oh,
one
boy.
time, and she's like, oh my God, like this guy like came up to me and he's like trying to sell me shit like hardcore, like being rude, and like he was like he's like like I have to tell you about this, like, and then like being rude to her, and you know that type, right? That sales type, that jamming down your throat, trying to follow the Andy Elliott type. What's wrong with those kids?
Well, you said Home Depot. If you're in Home Depot, for me, it's a Walmart brand of solar. It's too big.
Was it a solar company?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was probably like
It's Sunrun.
Common.
No, Sunrun is the one in all the Home Depots.
No, if it's a lawsuit, it's on you. I didn't say it.
Yo, but I hear you guys always talk about like, hey, you have to learn.
I was about to shit on him, and you go, it's Sunrun. It's like, let it go.
You have to do it based on like the personality type, right? So it's not just like every person you got to be type A to. You got to like, you know how like type A, you got to hit them with type A.
Yep.
But
you got to match their personality. So the engineer, the dorky guy with the numbers, you match their personality. You make sure he's the one that's going to educate. Say, Bryce, you're an engineer, right? I'm reading your personality. You're more low key. Got a Biden shirt, liberal prick, sorry. So I'm going to match your personality type. I'm not going to come at you really hardcore. And that engineer, he's already fucking smart enough. So why the fuck would I try to educate an engineer when he probably knows more about solar than I do? And I would say, dude, why aren't you selling solar? Bryce, you know how smart you are? Lisa, your wife's Lisa. Lisa, do you know how this guy is crazy? I can't even, what kind of degree do you have, right? Make you feel good. And I would have you educate yourself, sell yourself. You tell me right now if this is going to make sense. You're a spreadsheet guy, you're a numbers guy, you're a fucking dork. That's how I would talk to someone. I want you to break this down on paper. Tell me if this makes sense and would we move forward with the next step or not. I'll tell you what the next steps are. Let's break down numbers. You tell me if this makes sense. I would have him sell himself. If I'm there to give him education, he's already smarter than me. I'm letting my guard down. I've sold people from Harvard where I'm like, you're from where? Yeah, no, I'm done talking. You should be doing this. I can't believe, you know more about this than me. Although it might not be true, it gets them to feel very good, and you just kind of respect their level of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
That's one personality type. You have another one that's like an influencer, right? So the influencer, Tony, right? You're not really a type A. You want to be a type A. He's more of a type A.
I don't think I'm a type A.
But you're more of an influencer, right? You go with the flow, right? I would play Tony as the, dude, you know everyone on the block. You don't stop fucking talking. You got a pinky ring on, right? You do this, so is everyone else. You know that. So I would make him feel good, and at the end, I would assume the sale, assume the referral. So Tony, Janet, this motherfucker doesn't stop talking. He talks to everyone. He's going to be the guy. I get an average of 3 to 5 referrals per homeowner. I bet you have 20 to 25 at the end of the year. I would assume you're going to be one of the top guys. You know everyone. I'm going to be fucking annoyed at you that you're going to invite yourself over to my Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, you could come, but that's how I'd teach or work with someone that's like an influencer type.
Yep.
And then type A, I do the best with in regards to just control. I match their energy.
So I want to hear about type A's. I want to basically tell me a story of the wildest confrontation on a door that ended up in a sale.
I watched you get chased with a wrench one time.
Me?
Yeah.
Really? Where was that?
When you fucking actually he didn't. I shouldn't say he chased you, but the guy. You were like he was in like the garage and you were like down the street.
Oh, I don't remember.
Nah,
exactly.
tell whatever your best one is though.
So,
tell whatever your best one is.
I knocked one door. A lot of it was like same day sets, right? So while I'm teaching, I'm still knocking doors, which I'm gonna get out there soon enough. I say it every fucking whatever, bro.
Continue with the story.
So I go out up in Dutchess County, dead south facing house. When you're in this area, if we haven't hit your home with solar yet and you don't have solar in your house, you're probably, I'm thinking, a Republican. So I'm looking at it like, dude, if you're dead south, the savings is there. We knocked on that door 50, 60, 70 times. There's a reason why, maybe bad credit or Republican in my brain. So I'm going to knock that door, assuming no American flag, assuming they're Republicans. So I knocked the door. I stood back. The woman, very, very nice woman. I forget her name, but she comes outside, Long Beach Island sweatshirt. We start talking. Oh, I go there every year. The husband, the door was open. I'm not interested in solar, the woman tells me 3-4 times. No worries. I just have to give your husband the information. He came flying out the door, paint all over his fucking jeans. It was like a Thursday night, Friday night. Probably just got home from work. So He's screaming at me. I immediately match his energy because I need to control. Yeah.
I know. It's great.
You could get screamed at and be like 1 out of 70 that got told, get the fuck off my yard. So he's screaming at me, get the fuck off my yard. I'm screaming at him, dude, I'm on your fucking team. Stop. I'm on your fucking team. You need the information. I'm here to help you. I'm on your team, bro. Relax. I got to give you this info. I'm going to help you out. If you would just stop being so fucking thick-headed, and you're so thick-headed, you're a Republican, and you're a working class person, you just got home from work, how the fuck did you know that? I said, dude, look at your hands, look at the paint on your pants, and you're definitely a Republican, right? So he stopped, he listened, I gave him my pitch. And I ended up hopping on a Zoom that night and hooking them up with solar. They referred me 10 other people. So,
But the balls it takes to do that is insane.
but that's immediate reading someone to then directing, controlling whatever personality they are just controlling the situation. So,
But like, that's like you're at war and you got to be a Navy SEAL to know when the shot comes in, where to go, how to react, what to do, and how to fucking kill that person immediately. That's the highest level. Bro, when someone comes out screaming at you and you're a door-to-door sales rep, everyone shuts down, walks away, doesn't know what the fuck to do.
but if you're going in there assuming that's the person you're going to deal with, because what I say before, you're dead south.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why this guy, very nice house,
Mm-hmm.
property put together, he probably has good credit. There's a reason why this guy does not have solar. So I'm probably one of the only guys in the industry to really focus on politics.
Republicans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Politics,
you're anticipating the getting yelled at, so you're prepared when it
I'm
comes.
already pre-acting. I'm already understanding how I have to act the scenario. I know he's going to come out rough. I know the door's wide open. The wife, I was never disrespectful, but the wife was definitely like, dude, my husband is not interested in solar. I heard him coming out. So it's the hypervigilance, but also kind of being able to assume who you're going to be, who you're dealing with. But yeah, the political card definitely helps me in regards to solar. Hit me with the rest.
Yeah, so you guys, and particularly you, Andrew, and end up with a target on your back, globally in this sort of salesman culture, right? There's all these big companies, and they got these solar rock stars doing tons of deals, and off just a team of 100 knockers, right? People are hitting you up from all over the place. You guys have traveled together to fucking Texas, we've done stuff at the Vault, right? It's all these sales culture people. What are some of the ways that they conduct their people have hit you up, right, from other companies?
Yeah, I mean, I've people have hit me up. I've been to Texas. Lumi Bros at the time, Will, he's with Nevo now out in the Midwest or Northwest, I don't fucking know.
And they make you crazy offers and shit. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, him and Nate, both. Nate was an incredible trainer. One thing I will say is I'm extremely loyal. So I never went out looking for companies. Have I been hit up with Clean Skies, Shay, very well known in the industry. He's out in Arizona. Michael O'Donnell, one of the kings. I speak with him every once in a while. Spartan Solar, Alex, who owns Spartan, he approached me. There's a lot of Taylor McCarthy. He never approached me to work for him, but these guys do try to, grab up better salesmen. They could read who could sell or not. For me, it's more loyalty. I enjoyed that aspect of getting to know a lot of guys in the industry. That being said, I'm extremely loyal. I always went in saying, dude, I run the Northeast with this company. We are a private company. So that's how I look at it. You take care of home, and although stuff could be rocky at times, I've almost fucking killed Zach. He knows it, but I would never kill you, but I've gone at it with you. But that being said, it's kind of like family. The ownership to Gio,
I think maybe at the end of this podcast, me and you should just wrestle.
I can't wrestle
live.
you. You're in way better shape than me.
I think we wrestle.
We would have wrestled already.
Hasn't
if you
eaten
were.
in 4 days.
Yeah, Zach's too weak now. He's light.
Yeah, right.
I'll toss him.
I'll wrestle both of you boys same fucking time.
But the people that approach, I mean, I always I love networking. A lot of these guys are great guys. I talk to Will a lot still. Training wise, he's asked me to train him. I could never recruit as good as Will. He knows I got the fucking training though. He knows who I am on the doors. But that being said, the networking, the sales stuff, what makes us different is we're not, we keep it low enough where it's not too much salesy. It's more like still at home and you're in the local area, and it's not blown up enough where I think once it gets too big, you kind of get lost in ego, and it's just kind of like you start forgetting about the customer. That being said, I mean, loyalty for me is a lot. Even price points, I can make more money at other areas. I've had offers, very large offers, VPs of this company, that company. And I look at it like if our company does the right thing by homeowners, and there's always going to be hiccups in business. I've had an installer fall through a fucking roof before and land on the kid's bed. That was a mistake.
I remember that
We took
story.
care of it. But that being said, there's hiccups in business, but at the end of the day, I think it's still the top tier AA, AAA fucking line of business.
Got it. So PlugPV, you guys are speaking about how PlugPV has like a better offering, and it's better to the people who work with them, like you guys being in sales. So can we talk a little bit about like pay structure and like why it's better, why it's more impressive that you've made the money that you have as opposed to some guy in Texas who made maybe the same money or maybe less money, or what's the average income of a sales rep out there? Like, let's get into that a little bit.
Yep. So pay structure means nothing to me. If the fucking installation, the background noise, the Nick Klingerman of the industry, the guy running the show in the background, the project managers, my old project manager, Ben, who's back with us. Did you know that?
Wow, really?
Ben's
Ben
back
Rogers?
Yep. Martha, if you don't have the background, the installation crew, the top tier warranties, the top tier products, the pay structure means nothing.
Right.
Because what that's going to gain, Bryce, is referrals. Also, if you stand behind a shit product or a shit installer, who are you as a person? You're out there, what? Just selling someone a shit product?
That's called scamming.
Not
That's
just
the real
scamming,
definition
but you
of
wanna,
scamming.
I want to. I'm an independent contractor. I could work for anyone. I want to make sure that the contractors are the best out there that I have the capability to present to a homeowner. If something falls off along the way and stuff went to shit, I would bring my business to another company. So it has nothing to do with pay structure. That being said, pay structure, the pay will come if you're doing the right thing by the homeowner. If the installer is top tier, if the products are top tier, everything's going the right way, there are bumps in the road. If that's all set up, your referrals are going to come in. And that's more, pay structure is great, but it's not always about the lowest red line. And red line means what you're selling, the price point at, how much margin you can make on a deal. So a lower red line might mean
Shittier
a
product.
really shittier quality product or installation.
99% of the
more-
time, it means that.
That's more the Walmart brands of solar, these big public companies, not the private companies. And all those guys that I listed actually work for all very, very good companies. One of them in particular used us as a subcontractor, believe it or not. So he wanted me to sell all virtually in Arizona, right? And he's like, dude, you work for this company? That's my installer in the Northeast, which is fucking wild.
That is wild.
He met Jill randomly at a conference in Arizona. And he's like, do you know Jill Sutherland? And I'm not even really interested in going to get another job. I tell all them I'm very loyal to this company.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where I'm like, dude, fuck you if you ask me to install with someone else in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. But he ended up knowing Jill. But one of the bigger companies, Lumio, was a public company. I went down to Texas. Will was running a team, and Nate were running a team down there. They hopped on a couple Zooms with me, and they definitely could see I could sell immediately. They were like, dude, this guy sells politics. It works in Texas. So me and Anthony, I was offered to go down there to the Cowboy Stadium for their holiday party. So we were invited, and I said I would, look into this potentially. I did want to go to Texas and go to the Cowboy Stadium. I took a piss in the locker room, on the floor, by the way, not in the toilet.
Yeah.
Fuck the Cowboys.
But I said I want to make sure that my buddy, who's just as good, if not better than me at sales, is coming with me. So me and Anthony ended up going down to Texas. They had a blitz going on. Anthony joined the blitz. I was there for like 3 days. But I wouldn't stick out with a company. It was just more for the experience. They knew that.
All right. So then what does the future of solar sales look like for you? Let's talk about that, and then we'll cap this.
this is actually going to run right into our next topic of mental health and whatnot. But future of solar sales is probably, you know what? I watched, and all due respect, I love Anthony Marino. He's like a cousin.
Here it
extended
comes.
cousin. Nah,
Here
fuck
it comes.
He knows it. If you ask for the best salesman out there, it would be a combination between him and I. His ability to control emotions, go out there, take action daily, recruit door knockers. I can't do that. I ride around with one guy in my car for an hour. They're literally fucking running. They're like, I can't do this.
We've noticed.
Thank you, Tony. Everyone's quit that work with me. I think my expectations are a little bit high. He keeps it very simple because he knows what he knows, and industry wide, it's just like daily basis. He could go out and knock doors and continue and take action. Take action is very good. That being said, I don't have that, but I do have the gift of selling almost 99% of people I sit down with, as well as referring. One install turns to about 4 to 5 installations, like 420% turnaround, which is huge. So
Massive.
I only need a small amount to do a small amount of work to do a large figure. Some guys could put in that large amount of work. I personally don't think I can. But yeah, that kind of leads us into, well, to answer your question, I already hold all the records in this company, PlugPV. The last 3 years, I'm not going to say I count stats, but I count stats, and I have my spreadsheets.
I know you do.
So your last podcast with Anthony, which I was saying, all due respect, you called him number one. I mean, I already set records, and I guess I have to go out there and beat my own records to be number one again. That's how I look at this.
Well, it's.
Were you
it's
number one in 2023?
No.
Right. It's a time thing. Like
Right.
you're number one overall, like historically.
You're like Michael Jordan, but right now I'm not going to say the best player of basketball is Michael Jordan. He's not. He doesn't play in the fucking
Historically.
NBA anymore.
Oh, I just
right,
lit
so
him on
imagine
fire.
this.
He just got lit on fire.
I
We
just
need
saw his
another twisted
eyes
tea.
go red.
Do you have another Tuesday?
I want one. When we go on our break,
DoorDash
we're going.
it, DoorDash
I'm
it.
going to get one.
Imagine this.
DoorDash it. He
it.
said.
Now imagine this. You're making a fucking nice filet mignon,
Oh,
Right.
okay.
and you're one out of 100 people that could perfect that filet mignon.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Talk
You're
to me.
not at the restaurant every day. You show up. It's like, oh, when so and so, when the president wants a fucking filet, you show up and cook the filet.
Hell yeah.
But the other guy that you're calling number one, if they're making fucking craft burgers every day at volume, I don't think that's number one. I think it's just like you have to.
I love that analogy, but it has
Marino,
nothing to do
he
with.
just called you the burger
it has
maker.
nothing to do.
That was so stupid.
That doesn't relate to.
No,
it doesn't make
It
sense.
does. He's comparing
doesn't.
volume to quality.
No, you compared a burger to a fucking.
He's
filet mignon.
comparing volume to quality. He's
so
saying
hungry
he's
right
the
now.
highest quality salesman versus someone else who can consistently push
So
out
if I
burgers.
show up, there's no number one. There's talent. I don't think someone's going to
Again,
compare the
you are
talent.
comparing Michael Jordan to a current basketball. If the greatest at doing the thing, the best is you. But you weren't number one last year. You didn't have the most amount of sales. But I still think you are the greatest salesman I've ever met in my life. But that doesn't mean you were number one.
I think it's a little subjective. It depends on what
It
you
is.
value.
Absolutely.
But I absolutely know that we're going to have a part 3 here with you and Anthony Marino.
We're gonna
So we
mediate
can
it like
hash this out.
Sammy the Bull Gravano and Michael
No, you don't have to
Francis.
mediate it.
I need some rapid fire questions, and I'm talking about literally one word answers. And if you don't have the answers, fine, we'll skip it. How many people in the United States are in the 2 megawatt club?
Penis. 2.
In the United States?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, what? Hundreds.
Oh, 2 megawatt club.
Yeah.
I thought he meant like
In Plug PV?
For Plug PV,
I know
there's
it's
2, but
2.
in the country, there's hundreds.
Okay, got
You
it.
think so? Hundreds?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the biggest paycheck you've ever gotten?
like in 1 week.
One paycheck.
One paycheck.
One deposit.
79,000.
Zach?
Zach had 100
I had 107,000.
That's a quarter.
for a quarter. Yeah, his quarter.
Mine was for a week.
That's
There you
bad.
go.
Cool. How many houses have you put solar on?
250 plus.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Not really though.
It's not.
It's really not.
In how long?
3 years.
That's crazy, right?
Yes.
For you, it's not, but to most people, it is.
How much money did you spend on your backyard?
Spend, not invest. You see all that? So what you just did? Spend.
You spent it.
It's 750 plus thousand. So the deal with the backyard, I'm teaching. My goal was, I have a family. I never thought I was leaving teaching. So I have 2 kids. I have a wife. We're both, my wife's a teacher. We're off in the summer. Get the backyard done with, which I wanted to do prior to solar. I started doing prior to solar. My kids could enjoy every single day of the next 18 years until they move out, whatever. My wife could enjoy every single minute of the summer. There's more money to be made. If you have a scarcity mindset of how much did you spend, I don't know. I'm more like, there's more money to be made. Get the backyard done with, and why do something at 400,000 that you might look back and say, why didn't I do the fucking waterfall, the slide, the
palm
fire?
trees.
There's fucking palm trees.
Guy's got Florida in his backyard.
For real. It's beautiful
How much-
backyard.
what's the most you've ever spent on tequila in one buy?
Probably $5-6 grand.
Stupidest purchase you've ever made. Just throwing cash away.
Jewelry, which a lot of it actually got stolen. But what I
Oh
used
my
to,
God.
just to get an itch out, to be competitive for myself, not this, but say a bracelet. I used to buy something randomly to know it was a bad, what the fuck am I doing? To then have to go work again.
Oh,
Make myself feel
I
bad
remember
about
that.
why did I just spend 12 grand on a
just
diamond
to
bracelet,
fire yourself up.
gold bracelet, to be like, now I got to go make more money.
How much was it, the one you're thinking about?
It's probably like 12 grand, but that's not really comparison. There's,
That's one deal.
yeah, 1 or 2 deals. But I mean, the money stuff, you know, you come from nothing, you come from no money. My family doesn't have money. My lights used to be out every fucking month in my house. Foreclosures, repossessions, the whole bit. I don't know what the fuck money is. So when you start making 70, 50,000 in a week, 40,000, 40,000, it's like, it was literally monopoly money. It was not realistic. It's still, to me, not realistic, but investments, that's where a lot of the coaching, you start leveling up. Zach, you've done a great job of it. Tony, you own some properties, right? But yeah, the smarter investments come. The backyard's done. I mean, we had a great time at that party that I had.
I had so much
bro.
fun. I had to
This
take
year.
a nap.
Tony took a long nap. All right, guys, wrap it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you fuckers gonna be famous.
Guys are looking sharp.
Zach Dingy.
Tony
Two
Capoletti.
Dudes, Three Legs podcast, where we share business tips, interview experts,
And travel the world.
This week on Two Dudes, Three Legs.